And with that, I'm going to ask Celine to come up for the last presentation on this panel. You may notice I've given up on the questions on poll everywhere. Come on up. Just talking for a second while you make your way up here. Thank you. So I'll collect questions. We'll do a little question session after. You'll notice we're running a little bit over time. It's okay. I'll catch us up. I'll get us out of here on time. Don't worry about that. So we'll have Celine's presentation now. And Celine comes to us from Gatineau, so we're getting closer and closer here a little bit. And we get to hear about the FabLab. We've got your presentation up, I believe. Yeah. All right, super.
That's fine, I'll take it. Okay. Kwe, bonjour. Hello, everyone. Miigwech, mitsi miigwech, kokum prudom. Very, very flattered to see you here and welcoming us on the Algonquin, unceded Algonquin territory. It's a great honor. Sylvain, Monica, Sandra, thank you very much for inviting me again. I think at the suggestion of Guy Danco, so thank you very much. What I'd like to present you today is our organization. There's a small mistake in the program. The name of our organization is First People Innovation Center. So first is missing, and it's quite key in this gathering here today. So the First People Innovation Center was created about 8 years ago. And we work with different sectors, education, health, work with the elders, and as well as students and women. And literally what we have created is the very first indigenous Fab Lab in Canada. The Fab Lab ONAKI, ONAKI in Anishinaabe means roots, and I think we were talking about that quite extendedly this morning. And this, as you will see, this word ONAKI was key in our concept. So what we did is we took the MIT concept of Fab Lab. For those who don't know or not familiar with the Fab Lab are workshops where we work with very sophisticated equipment like 3D printers, laser cutters, vinyl cutters, CNC, and all sorts of very sophisticated piece of equipment. And our clientele is the indigenous youth that have abandoned school, mainly because of a failure in our education system. And we've made this kind of bet that we can work with this clientele, with the youth, with the very sophisticated equipment of the 21st century, and we can have quite a lot of success. And after 2 years, we are at our 4th cohort, and our rate of graduation is 75%. Our funders that work with indigenous youth that also have abandoned school, normally program that are addressed to them is between 20 to 30% success. And why is that? We did a fusion between two transversal value, of course, social innovation, also technical innovation, and identity pride. And this last value was quite key to us. So what we did, we divided, it's a 5-month training program, 30 hours a week, during 5 days a week. And what we do is we divided the day into 2 parts. And the first part, the morning, we focus on identity pride. So it's all concentrated into culture, roots, and traditional values. And in the afternoon, we jump into the technology, always in the same century, the culture in the 21st century, and the equipment in the 21st century. And it's just unbelievable how the youth can succeed in that setting. In the morning, they kind of build their own confidence in themselves, so own esteem, and among all is the pride to be what they are. And one of the first things we tell them is, you're not indigenous. Indigenous is kind of a very kind of wide and governmental name to kind of, tag a certain person, a certain percentage of the population. We say, you have to be proud of who you are as Innu, as Mi'kmaq, as Ojibwe, of Anishinaabe. And we make a point of teaching many lessons from those various nations. We also work with Inuit people. That's why we use First People. Otherwise, we use First Nation, as you probably know. So also the Inuit culture is very much integrated into the program. So you can see in the image here, this is about like the second or third days in the Fab Lab, and the young people who come, normally they come, their hand in the pocket and looking on the ground. And after a couple of days, there's the two ends in the into the technology and doing their project. I think one reason why the approach within the Fab Lab is very adapted to the First People, First Nation, is in the Fab Lab there's no like a teacher in the front of the class talking during 6 hours and student taking notes and then having evaluation every second month. The way we work in Fab Lab is it's a very, very small step at the time, observation first, and then hands-on. And in addition to the cultural program that we do in the morning, in the afternoon, because most of those youth have known only failures at school, so we make sure that every day they experience success. Very, very, very important. Every day they have to do a step in their learning, and they have to show it to their peers and exchange among the peers. So there's always this kind of positive dynamic that is going on in the Fab Lab. They also introduce within their project, they introduce some what they call the natural resources, like bones and skins and stone. All those material is very present in the Fab Lab. As I mentioned here, we have 75% rate with the kids, with the youth. At the end of the program also, we hire the most dedicated student, not the best student necessarily, the most dedicated student. And the concept is so popular that now we have set up a Nomad Fab Lab, and we go on reserve on the community. It's a short program in the community. We're there for 6 weeks. And what we want to do is just trigger their interest, and then those who are interested, they can come to Gatineau and take the 5 months program. Well, we started with the first Nomad Fab Lab in November, and last week we had to put on the road a second Nomad Fab Lab because the interest is so great from the community, and especially the chief, that they can see the result of part of the population that didn't seem to have a lot of success. And when I was saying that we hired the most dedicated student in the ONAKI Fab Lab, that's the one that we take with us in the Nomad Fab Lab. So they are the one that teach in the reserve to their peers. So there's kind of a lot of esteem, that developed through this approach. what's the factor, of that 75% and up of success? Again, I think it's really the fusion between tradition, innovation, also between culture and transfer of knowledge. I think those two pieces together make the success of the program. And I wouldn't be so enthusiastic about the concept if we didn't have adapted it to the traditional culture of the indigenous youth. And also the fact that the way we developed it, the program, we did it in co-creation with a lot of partners in the region here, Ottawa, Gatineau, but also from some targeted community. So thank you very much, miigwech, miigwech, miti miigwech.
Thank you very much. If I may add one piece, when Celine and I were talking, you were talking about these projects and what the youth do. There was one line that you said, when they get engaged in these projects and working with those materials and the resources that you have available, the things they come up with, we couldn't have thought of that. And I think that's kind of like a really important piece. Like, as we bring everybody together, there are ideas that are going to come out that we would otherwise not think about. Finally, I have some time for questions for the room here. I gave up on the online system, so who's got... I'll bring it back for the second session, but who's got some questions?